Hi guys, welcome to Crypto Bin 101, the home of value and good information when it comes to crypto, trading, investment in general. We're going to be looking at the news. We know yesterday we talked about the CPI, that's about the inflation rate in the Great Britain, and it's just unbelievable that it keeps moving up and up because now it's now even above 10%. And that is for a long period of time. And also on today's show, we're going to be looking at Tesla and their holdings and the relationship with BTC. As we all know, these guys made crypto move ahead in 2020, 2021 bull run. These are more what we're going to be checking on today's show. And also, don't forget, we're going to be looking at the chart analysis, talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all other cryptocurrency that are making names in the game. All right, my name still remains the same, Ahmed Oladmeji Kazim, and this is the Bitcoin and Breakfast Show where we trade it and we do not gamble it. Yesterday, we saw the news came out and we see that inflation rates in the Great Britain remain on the high side by 10.1%. And I think this has been causing a lot of trouble or a lot of talk in the on the news and all of that. I haven't seen the reason why BTC or cryptocurrency needs to hold its ground in euro, because if the economy keeps or the inflation keeps rising, where would people put their money apart from gold and silver? I believe it's definitely going to be cryptocurrency, because we saw even their currency has been devalued, not devalued, but it's been dropping since this inflation has been on the rise. And now let's take a look at what is it? UK inflation surges to 40-year high. What does it mean for Bitcoin? And the inflation rate in the United Kingdom surpassed 10% for the first time in the past 40 years. And local economies wants that the figure could rise to 11% in the following month, driven by soaring food and fuel prices. And we can see over here during the same year, the COVID-19 pandemic also left its mark. The country was among those with most strict measures aiming to restrict the impact of health disaster and all of that. And we can see that 2.5 years later, the effect of the mass printing and other issues at hand becomes apparent, according to BBC report. The inflation rate for September surged to 10.1%, a level not seen since 1981. And we saw what happened with what am I going to call it? With United States last week. Inflation was on the rise and moved to 4%, and the core CPI was 6%. And that puts a big stress on BTC, because, like I told you, if there is no way for your money to be valuable, to make some money out of the market, how can you use the money to invest? Not to even talk about you're going to buy some commodity stocks or cryptocurrency. So now, and that's why we'll be expecting, I think, a massive interest rate across the globe, because the only way they can control this in the Great Britain too is by now adjusting the interest rate. We saw what happened with United States, and we're expecting them to do that. And I must tell you too, even in China, the economy is shrinking instead of expanding. So I feel like there's a lot of things that is affecting the economy. Number one is the inflation on the rise due to the war in Ukraine and Russia, and also the pandemic, the aftermath of the pandemic. It's still in the system, because a lot of money were printed out, talking about stimulus that were given to the citizen, uh, some business help that were given to business organization and all of that. And these are now the reason why we are facing all what is happening in the economy. And also now we saw on this news that price in United Kingdom continue to rise, hitting hitting another 40-year high of 10.1%, according to figure from UK Office for National Statistics. The Consumer Price Index, that's the CPI, rose by 10.1% in 12 months to September 2020, up from 9.9% in August. We all know CPI comes out every month, and we have it. They bring it every month at the same time. They compare it to a year ago. That's why we always have CPI month to month and CPI year to year. And what does this though in the economy? It does a work of comparing or contrasting the price or the increase in price of goods and services, talking about food, commodities, and even gas and energy. And that's why they're able to measure the inflation in the economy, speaking about how the economy has been doing, if it's been doing well or it's been and dropping. And given the current policy in place by the Bank of England and our government, double-digit inflation is quite obvious. I feel like it's a wake-up call for many people in UK to start learning about why this is happening to our money. And I think the only reason we can bring out, we can understand, is because the inflation is affecting all the countries globally. And I might, like a lot of people or some analysts say, we're in a recession already, but they just don't want to spell it out and say we're in recession, you understand? But I believe if there's no any measures being taken or to remove all this stress or to put all these things into a proper place, we might fall into recession. We saw what happened in 2008, we saw what happened in 1931 and stuff like that, So what are we now going to look at? And that's why the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency at large now comes in. We all know Bitcoin has been down for some time. It's been falling down since, what year will I call it? Let me show you right here. We all know BTC has been falling since, let me show you on the chart. Bitcoin has been falling since beginning of this year, yes, but I want to tell you the exact time when Bitcoin has been falling, because we can all see it on the chart here. We can see the last time we have the all-time high was November 2021, and we had a retest in November, November 2021, and since then it's been falling. So now close to 1 year now, Bitcoin has been falling, and a lot of people are now thinking, okay, are you trying to say now that most economy are now having this backlash of, or the aftermath of cryptocurrency, do we now believe BTC, not BTC, cryptocurrency at large, will now be like a safe haven for these investors to put their money to hedge it against inflation? But we all know that even though the inflation keep rising and your money becomes valueless, you can't use it to purchase something reasonable, not to not talk about you saving to be able to buy asset or invest in anything. We all know all these big banks could even turn around and say, okay, since all the stock or the economy keeps falling, why don't you push our money into this asset, and we can start making some money from there. And when the economy come back to normal and start expanding, they can move the money back to it. And I believe that's the reason why we've been seeing BTC roaming around over here. We can even see when the news dropped yesterday and last week. And this is the point I want to share with you. Look at the CPI of United States last week and look at the CPI of GBP this week that happened yesterday. They're almost the same thing. But now, what happened in the market? Did we see a massive crash? No. We saw the market move down, but recovered immediately. And what does that tell you? If you've been watching the show, I told you these big boys, they are getting ready to bag more cryptos. And we've been seeing even some institutions now saying you can stake your ETH, you can now they're now offering even crypto services and all of that. So to my own understanding, we've not been able to break between 17,500 and 18,500 on BTC, even when we're having the worst data coming out of this economic calendar. Because yesterday, everyone will be expecting, since the GDP, whatever, is shrinking again, or the inflation is on the rise, we're expecting the crypto market to suffer more or to deep down. We all know Europe is part of one of the biggest people that have adopted cryptocurrency. We saw the news coming out. They're worst, they're not doing well, but yet the market has failed to break that support. You understand? And where is the support, or where is the basis line that I'm saying is between 18,000 to 17,500. The market has been coming down. Okay, yesterday now, the market came down after the news to about 18,900. You can see on my chart, but now it's recovering back immediately. And when you see something like that happening, that means people might think this is the bottom, or this is where we feel like BTC should start appreciating back, because even the economy is not doing well. Inflation keeps increasing all over the globe. And where can we put our money? Let's put it in a cryptocurrency that it's new, and a lot of people might want to adopt it through that and put the little money they'll be able to save on it, and we can have a skyrocket. And don't mind you, I told you, when you see the market appreciating in a large quantity, it's not the retail traders that are doing that, it's the institutional traders, because they are the one that have that billions of dollars to put in the market and move the market. And speaking of that, we just found out that even Elon Musk or Tesla did not sell their Bitcoin, and they still are holding to some of it. I was still going to share that shortly. But speaking about the inflation in the United States, I say in the United States, in the UK, yes, in UK and United States, we now need to be careful and now need to get ready, because we might see BTC moving up. And I bet you, if the next Fed rate comes out, and this is the juicy part of the guys. If the next interest rate comes out and the data shows that they increase the interest rate, and we saw the market falling and recovered immediately, I'm not going to even sugarcoat this. Not financial advice, but I'm going to tell you we're about to see massive movement in cryptocurrency, because that shows that where you sell, some people are just there waiting to buy it. And when the moving average, or a lot of people, or the sentiment get to understand that we are failing to break this zone, everybody will flock the market, and we'll see the market uh, keep on the rise. Okay, now let's take another readings from about the UK news. We can see massive money printing and COVID lockdown have sped up its demise. Fortunately, Bitcoin emerged as a solution just when humanity needed it. Bitcoin is money for people, by the people, and can't be controlled by the state. You see, so, and that's what I'm telling you. We might see people or institutions now rushing back to cryptocurrency, and we do not want to miss out, because that's why, or that's what the show it's all about. And talking about the show, if you've not subscribed to the channel, you need to do that right now. Hit the subscribe button, like and share, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell, so we can all have a good time when the bull run starts. And I can bet you it must start at any time. Also, we have Paul Days, a chief economist at Capital Economics, commented to the Financial Times that the UK will have to get used to rising prices. Days explained that the rate of inflation will remain in double figures well into the new year. Imagine when you now have this news, what do you expect investors to do? What do you expect the big banks to do? They need a safe haven where they can put their money, because once inflation keeps rising, things start becoming expensive. To rent an apartment, gas going to increase, houses going to be expensive, and a lot of that. And now, if the wages is not moving ahead with it, or the salary is not in correlation with it, now your money become valueless. And now, what do you do with it? It's what nothing. So people like to put their money into something that will now make it more valuable, and they can still retain their financial status in the long run. And by the time the inflation now decide to drop, or the interest rates start coming down, we'll now see them taking the money out of whatever they put it, and now start investing in the economy. So that's that on the data that came out yesterday. And I think we all need just to be ready, and to how am I going to call it, to be ready to place our trade or to invest in what will see the institutional moving onto. And even in Canada, we saw that the CPI came out at 0.1%, and the median CPI is 4.7%, and the common CPI at 6% year to year. And I think Great Britain is just suffering from the aftermath of the pandemic, and the energy and gas and other resources they are getting from Ukraine and Russia. And we all know the war is still going on. So that's that. Let's not talk about this guy that's always making headline. We saw that Tesla makes no changes to its Bitcoin holding in the third quarter, and the electronic car company did not buy or sell any Bitcoin in the quarter after selling 75% of its holding in the second quarter. We all know Elon Musk came on Twitter we can call it a year ago because it's more than 1 year or some years ago, and they said Tesla will start accepting BTC, and we saw Bitcoin moving from, I think we're around 20K, 20 something K to 40K, 40K to 60K, and immediately he said, oh, BTC is now it's consuming, or is it consuming a lot of energy, and is a preacher of global warming, and that's why he's been launching electric cars and all of that. And we saw the market plummet back to around 40K, but we saw a buyback to around 69K before the market started falling. And some weeks ago or some months ago, they come out and say they've sold 75% of their token. And I believe if we look at it, the reason why Bitcoin has been falling is because there's always fraud out there. And I'm not going to blame it on people listening to these people or listen to influencers. Yes, because it's logical. We saw Elon Musk brought down BTC to 40K. We saw Duquan News push Bitcoin down to around maybe 19K, 20K. And since then, we've been battling with it, because whenever these guys take something out of the market, it's a massive blow to the cryptocurrency. And now let's take a look at this. We saw Kanye West now rocking Satoshi Nakamoto hat, and people are saying maybe since JP Morgan closed his bank and maybe a lot of banks are still going to close his account, he might move his money to Bitcoin or to cryptocurrency. We don't know. It depends on whatever he chooses to put his money on. And also, he might announce that, okay, you cannot buy Yeezy with Bitcoin. Like even Tesla now is now saying you can buy their perfume, or if you've not seen it, you can check their perfume out. You can buy it with Dogecoin. You understand? They say they're still considering accepting Bitcoin back on Tesla if the energy consumption, or if there's not a solution for the energy consumption. So when you look at this news, we are seeing a build up gradually to the next bull run. You understand what I'm trying to say? We are seeing a build up gradually to the next bull run. Okay, now they're coming out to say they are still holding the 25% left in BTC. You understand? A lot of people might think, oh, Tesla don't want to have anything to do with it again, but they are still partaking in cryptocurrency. So the next bull run is around the corner. And all this news, we need to put one and two together, put the data together, and know that anytime soon we might start seeing the market shooting up, and it will never come down until maybe the economy or whatever, the inflation and all these things going around in the world reduces, and we might not see a correction, or we might not see some of them pulling their money back and putting it into something very good in the economy. And we can see electric car maker Tesla did not sell any of its Bitcoin holding nor purchase any additional Bitcoin in the third quarter. The company reported yesterday in its latest earnings report. And we can see Tesla reported no importance charge to value of its Bitcoin holdings, as the price of cryptocurrency remained almost the same at the end of both second and third quarters at slightly under 20,000. And we can see CEO Elon Musk said on the company's second quarter earnings call that the sale was made because of the uncertainty of the COVID-19 lockdown in China, but noted that Tesla is open to boosting its Bitcoin exposure in the future. Can you picture that? They're still willing to boost their Bitcoin exposure in the future. And when are they going to do that? When the energy consumption or the whatever they are using, because we all know Bitcoin still remain proof of work. We have Ethereum as proof of work before, but they had to move to proof of stake because of they want to be energy consumption friendly, talking about the global warming and all of that. But we've seen Michael Saylor even coming out telling us that even the impact of BTC on the economy and the gain or the benefit is far, far more than that. And I saw an article saying the what do you call this in the emissions from the car we're driving all over the world is even a million times more than Bitcoin mining nodes and all of that, or energy consumption. So you see, there's a lot of narratives around this thing, and you need to understand it. You need to get the check before you miss out on it, because everybody is waiting for the next bull run so we can make a lot of money, because you want to buy when it's low so you can sell when it's high. So now all this information are coming out, and I bet you the next bull run is around the corner. You can comment down in the comment section and let me know what you think about Tesla holding 25% of their BTC and have not sold anything. And do you think they will be part of it in the future? And talking about the UK economy, what do you think has led UK to now have about 10.1% inflation? And I think that's the highest in 40 years, though we saw the highest in 40 years when it comes to core CPI in the United States as well. So I think generally or globally, inflation is just on the rise with the aftermath of pandemic and also the war going on in Russia and in Ukraine. And let's check some other things on the Tesla. We can see over here, sorry, my distance one. Elon Musk Tesla still holding about 218 million in Bitcoin. And in Tesla report, the public on Wednesday, the company says it still holds 218 million in BTC. And in July, Tesla announced that it sold 75 of its Bitcoin holdings, around 936 million at the time after the sale. Tesla reported it continued to hold 222 million worth of digital asset on its balance sheet as of end of June. And what is balance sheet? Balance sheet is what shows their, how am I going to call it, their asset and their liability, because as a company, you need to put out your balance sheet, especially if you're a public company, because all your investors, your stakeholders needs to see how the company has been growing, you understand? So now the balance sheet shows, oh, okay, this is their liability, oh, this is their asset and all of that. And under the asset, it shows that they are still holding on to their BTC. And we all know Elon Musk is planned to buy Twitter for some times now, and he's been trying to raise some funds. Sometime he dropped down. Now there was a message saying he was talking with Jack Dorsey that he's still going to rearrange, or he's going to have a plan on how he's going to acquire Twitter back, but he's thinking, or he wants Twitter, or I don't know, the app to become a decentralized app. And I feel if it's a decentralized app, that's going to help the crypto space at large. So we just need to stick around and watch all these things happening in the news. So now with all this information, or with all these things happening in the market, let's check the impact on the chart analysis before we move forward. All right. Yesterday, now when we saw the news breakout, we knew the market is going to drop down. Even before the news, I told you, when you see the chart like this, we have a symmetric triangle where we are 1, 2, 3. We now have the 4 around there, which we have a fake out above it. And I told you I'm expecting a fake out to be the 5. You understand? But now this is now moving from becoming a symmetric triangle to now becoming, let me show you something like this. Is now becoming a falling wedge. You understand? Because you can now see it's forming a falling wedge because we break above this point, and that's why I'm telling you, when we break above 18,980 yesterday, conveniently, we need to get into the market, but make sure you use your risk, reward, and all of that. So what am I expecting the market to do? I haven't seen the buyback even after the poor data that came out of the Great Britain yesterday. We can see that this zone is now becoming the major resistance, and it doesn't want to break that. Let me highlight it to you. We can see we have all this place. We have this place. If the market breaks it, it recovers immediately. We have this point, you can see the market breaks it, recovers immediately. Now we touch it there, we fail to break it. Now over here again, we've touched the place, we're failing to break it. You see, and that's I'm talking about between 18,900 18,900 and 19K thereabout. We've been touching that zone and we've been failing to break it. But let me explain why that has been happening, because I told you this movement was a good one for BTC, and that's why I call this my 1 and this is my 2. I've been expecting my 3 to play out since, but now it's not playing out because we've been inside a triangle, and now we saw a breakout of a triangle, now recover back into it. So what am I expecting? I'll be expecting the market to pull through to form my 3. You understand? For my 3, and probably we're not going to see the 4 complete the cycle on a lower time frame. Sorry, not lower time frame, on a lower point. Point means maybe it's going to complete in a 5,000. No, not 5,000. 5,000 is large. Let's talk about 1,000 points to 2,000 points. Because when you see where the market is moving now, let's say you get into the market at the right time, which sometimes is not possible. But let's say you're able to cut it at 18,000, and now you can see the market is at about 19,500. You see, it's between 1,000 to 2,000 points. So that's a small movement. So I'm expecting the market to move ahead like that. Excuse me. So I'm expecting the market to move ahead like that and complete the cycle maybe above 2,400 or below 2,500. It depends, because the cycle needs to be completed before we see the market moving. And I believe the market will be like this until the next interest rate I will be expecting from the Fed. So now you need to trade carefully, and you need to make sure you use a risk reward when you're taking a trade or you're putting your money on any asset. So, but let's get down to today's business. Where do we need to get into the market with all the news we've seen? I'll show you right now. I feel like we've seen this. Let's see. I just draw all this one now. We've seen this kind of I don't know, we'll call it probably bear flag. But if it's becoming bear flag now, we're having our 1, we're having our 2, we're having our 3, we're having our 4. I'm expecting market to just come and probably mitigate this point. 19,670. If you break above it, highest 19,900, whatever, and drop. And mind you, I told you when you use Fibonacci on this, on the previous show, I told you that it's bouncing back at 0.50. And whenever you see market bouncing back at 0.50, there's possibility you see the market going back to the top to form M in a higher time frame before the market drop down. But you don't want to stick to that. You want to do whatever the chart is telling you. So what I'm expecting to happen today is this. Let me show you. What I'm expecting to happen today is, let me delete this because it's not looking too much on the screen so we don't get confused, guys. If you've not subscribed to the channel, do that right now. Subscribe, like, and share, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you can get all this information we're passing across to you every day. So now we break above this symmetric triangle. Let me draw it back. You see, below it. Yeah, but let me tell you why sometimes when you have a fake out, you understand, in the structure, sometimes number 4 is always a fake out, and sometimes number 5 is always a fake out. I'm going to explain why it's like that. Because you have the market moving from here, you have your 1, you have your 2. They know a lot of people will put their stop loss below here. So what they do is they come down, kick them out, then they move the market up. They do that always. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So now, seeing this is nothing. It's part of the plan. So what we need to do now is we need now to wait and see if we're going to break above this point. If you break above, I think we're having, excuse me, yeah, this lower time frame, let me show you. So we have 1, 2, 3. This is my 4. I'm not expecting us to break below this 4. So now, since we break below this 4 now, I'm gonna term it as a structure being broken here. Do you get my point? But we failed to break this. Let me zoom in so you can see. You see, this spike is inside the spike. Do you get it? So I feel like where do you need to place the trade now? let's now use normal logic. Now we break above this place, which is 19,000, 19,900, and that is big. So now we're forming another movement. Where do we need to get into the market now? This is where we have the movement before we break this point. We need to get into the market above 19,300, because that's where we're going to see the market shoot up. If you don't break it now, I will advise you just stay out of the market, because the moment we break this 1989, 85 or 18900, or this 18900 below more, the market will continue coming down, because now you could not invalidate this flag we're seeing here. So you need to be careful, guys. You need to make sure you use your risk reward number one, and make sure you stick to the plan. When you have a trading plan, I bet you it will help you a lot, because when you're just trading now, you don't have a plan. That's really a bad thing. So now we'll be waiting. Now we broke below this point now, and we've been forming an lower low, lower high, lower low, lower low on higher time frame. What do we need to do now? We need to wait for the highs, which is this one, to play out. Then the moment we come down and break above it, I think that's where we need to get into the market. And if you have a buy right now, I would advise you put your buy, because when you look at this green line I put here, the market didn't break the green line over here, which is 18,900. So as far as the market didn't break the 18,900, I think it's still a buy, and we can still hold our trade, because I'm expecting the market to move ahead back to complete the cycle or the movement as per se on the BTC. So I think that's that on the chart today, and you need to stick to the channel in case we see something that we need to play out, or join the Discord channel or the Telegram channel. The link is down in the description, and you can get to know when we tell you leave the market or buy the market. This is not financial advice by any way. We're just trying to, share what we know or what we believe is right in the market. So you need to do your own research and make sure you use your risk reward. So let's check out ETH. I haven't seen BTC. I believe BTC has come to test, though I'm waiting for it to come down here. But since what am I going to call it? Since the Fibonacci keeps stopping at 0.50, that says a lot. You understand? Since it keeps rolling around the 0.50 zone, it's almost getting to the 0.61, which is a perfect buy as a trader, you understand? So what I would say is, this is a good place to place a trade, or this is a good place to buy, but make sure you use your risk reward. And the moment you see us breaking below 18,900, just leave the market. But right now you can place your buy, put your stop loss below 18,900, use your risk reward, or wait for us to break 19,300. Depends on whatever you're okay with. You know how much you have in your account, and you know what lot size you can use to take a risk between that measurement of 18,900 and 19,300, or you get into the market now where the market is still sitting at 19,180. So you need to make sure you take a look at that and you do the right thing. So let's check out Mr. The Merge, which is the ETH/USD. I'm going to show you now the ETH/USD. I told you yesterday, what am I expecting the ETH to do? To break out of here. You see, I told you I'm expecting to break out, and I'm still standing on it. Do you know why? Because even when you use, excuse me, let me delete this. I'm going to show you right now, because even when you use the Fibo, you can see, sorry, I'm dropping it to the I1. You see, it's still not breaking the 0.38. And when you have price action failing to break 0.38 retracement, I am telling you, we're going to see a breakout. I'm telling you, we're going to see a breakout. So I'm expecting that breakout from ETH. It's been 2 days now. It's just been roaming around, not breaking the zone. I am actually expecting a breakout for ETH. So if you miss the buy, I think this is a perfect time for you to buy, and make sure you use your risk reward. Not financial advice anyway, but I'm just trying to share what I've studied in the market. But if you break 1,260, you need to get out of the market, because now we are not breaking the structure, and also we are not even breaking the 0.38 Fibonacci retracement. So now, as far as we fail to break this 0.38, I am expecting a breakout, and I'm telling you that. I'm not saying you should do, but that is what I'm going to do, because It's now clear that we're just having 1, 2, we need to have our 3. And this didn't break this, so this is not our 3. We need to have our 3, and this is nothing. So this is just like a structure inside, a minor structure inside a major structure. You get what I'm trying to say? So I'm expecting ETH to break out, just as I'm expecting Bitcoin to move up. I'm expecting ETH to break out, and I think we need to stick to that. We need to put a close attention on it so we do not make mistake or do anything. So ETH is still sitting on a buy. We've not broken the 1,260 I told you yesterday. If you break that, then we can be looking to take our money out of the market. If you're an investor, if you're a trader, you should know you use the stop loss and use your risk reward already. But as an investor, you put your money and you move it back to your USDT. Then when we have another signal that's a buy, then you can put in. But right now, if you still have a buy, I think you should still leave your buy until we break the 1,260. So that's that on ETH. Let's check out APT, because this token was launched, and after launching, we saw it moving down on Binance. So let's check it out. Let's check it out on Binance. And I'm going to drop a video about this so you guys can have a clear understanding of when a project is launching. It's always buy the rumors and sell the news. We saw it happening with the Cardano fork upgrade. We saw it happening with the merge. You understand? The same thing happened right now. See this. Is this not crazy? This is crazy, guys. Can you imagine? They launched the thing on an exchange and it moved up to $72 or $73, and immediately, like after 2 minutes, 3 minutes of people putting their money in, drop down back to $7. That is massive. And that's why I tell you, when a project is coming on, you do not want to rush in, because the moment you rush in, they're going to use you to cash out, and we call it rug pull. They're going to rug you and you're going to lose your asset. Imagine how much or a kind of amount of money that have been liquidated on this project that is launched. This project just launched. They launched a blockchain on the 17th, and a day after they launched it on different exchanges. And now see what happened. A lot of people have lost their money, and we're going to drop a video about that. So you need to subscribe to the channel. And make sure you turn on the notification bell so you can understand what is happening when another project is coming up, because we're going to dissect this and analyze and talk about it so you can have a clear understanding. So now, what do we do on this kind of issue? I'm not going to lie, you guys. What do we do in this kind of issue? I'm not going to lie to you. We just need to stay away. We stay away from this project until we see a proper structure. When a proper structure is being formed, yes, we can now get into the project. You understand what I'm trying to say? But right now, if I want to buy, I'm even going to place my buy stop above maybe $10. That if we break that, I know we're going to see a buyback. But now, if I want to play a short, I'm going to play a short below $6.5, because it might still continue going down, go down to zero. And why is this happening? We're going to drop the show. You don't want to miss that. I'm going to drop an in-depth of about why this is happening, because it's all about the blockchain. It's all about what we call TPS. What is TPS? Stick to the channel. You're going to know what that means, and we're going to talk about that. So that's that on the chat today.